At that time, it was known as the National Fund. And the issue to discuss was Southern problem. And some resolutions were taken after the negotiations. One of the most important resolutions was that there must be the University of Juba. So your existence here today, your existence today was a result of a political decision. So when you see us politicians coming around, you must know also we gave birth to you, our forerunners gave birth to you. We are not claiming the intelligence to have asked for a university, but we say at least they were also called politicians as much as we are called politicians. So this university was a political decision, a resolution taken in the interests of Southern Sudan by then. And that was in 1965. Nothing was still done until the creation, when there was the Addis Ababa Peace Agreement, as you remember, in 1972, and then the High Executive Council was formed. After the High Executive Council was formed, we had what they call a regional government in Southern Sudan for the three provinces of Barnaba, Equatoria, and Upper Nile. The three then were constituted as Southern Sudan by then, and the government was formed here, and Juba was declared to be the capital. What you people must know, when colonialism came into this continent, whether they were in Kenya, whether they were in Nigeria, or whether they were in South Africa, they had capitals already started. And you must ask yourself, when the British were here from beginning from 1898 to 1956, Southern Sudan was treated as a separate unit, as a closed district. And it had a capital, and the capital changed 3 times. It was first at Gondokoro, and from Gondokoro, General Charles William Gordon moved it here. So Juba became like any other colonial capital, like Nairobi, like Lagos, although they have now built a new city as a new capital, like Pretoria, you can go on, like Dar es Salaam. And that's how Juba became the capital, because the British had intended it to be actually a separate state much earlier. That's why they had the closed district for the 3 provinces. And if you were to travel during that time from the south to the north, you had to use a travel document or a passport. You couldn't just, or anybody from Northern Sudan coming here had to use a travel document, a permit. You see, so many people have conceived what we achieved in 2005, what it would be, the Republic of South Sudan. So you must look after this country. It came a long way from our ancestors up to now. So for 1965, when our political leaders, SANU Southern Front, and SANU Indian side and SANU inside, requested that there might be a university. It was only in 1975 that this university was established, Juba University. And the intention was to give the children of South Sudan, or Southern Sudan by then, that they must have their own academic institution. And of course it had a vision, it had its own mission why this university is created. Because Southern Sudanese by that time used to go to Khartoum University, which was the only university in the country. So my fellow friends in Juba University know that this university is very valuable. It is a result of a political struggle that you got this institution. So we are happy that we look well after it. And that's why our president was prepared to come, because it's a part of the dreams of the people of South Sudan. It was only until 1977, as said by the Vice Chancellor, that it was first opened. So from 65 to 77, how many years is that? 7 years or how many? 65, 5 plus 2, 7 years. I mean 12 years, I must say. That Juba University opened up. We are happy that it started with a few students, and as we were told by our Vice Chancellor here, that the university has expanded from 10,000 in 2004 to the present situation, which is now 30,000. Now, 57 years. Now you have a population of 30,000 students. The student population for Southern Sudan, when you look at the history of university students, you will be amazed. When they used to talk, and we used to hear from people like Abel Alier, people like Joseph Lagu and others, that those who used to go to the university from Southern Sudan used not to be more, if you get 5, oh, that was a big number at the university. But we must not be surprised in Africa, because when the DRC became independent after Patrick Lumumba, when they got their independence in the 60s, there was only 1 graduate from a university. And that graduate became their first foreign minister. When Zambia became independent, there were only 5 graduates when President Kaunda became the president. But they got their independence. Now, when South Sudan became independent, how many graduates we have? Thousands of PhDs, thousands of graduates. So why would anybody out there think that we should fail? If those countries with 5 graduates and 1 graduate are existing, who will deny our existence? Who will say we don't have capacity? We have the capacity. We have the ability. And that confidence must be built in our children. They must know that. All you need is to be assisted. Here are your lecturers, professors out here. Some of them are coming from well-to-do countries, but they still came here. We are not giving them any money, but it's the principle. So, fellow students, so don't think that there is no capacity in the Republic of South Sudan. We have. And if it is the issue of becoming independent to get your dignity and become free requires the number of graduates, I think we are qualified. Those with 1 graduate became independent. We have about 1,000. So why can't we qualify? So our independence is well done. So this university is strategically, and Mr. Vice Chancellor, I admire what you said, strategic importance of this university. And it has done well, I must say. Here are some of your products. They are doing well, doing their job, they learn in this university. The University of Juba leadership has done its part. They have identified the problem and qualified in terms of resources required to address it. For this hard work, I would like to express on behalf of His Excellency, the President, the vote of thanks for this work. Congratulations. What remains now is for us who are in attendance here in this hall and other South Sudanese of goodwill who love their country. You see, sometimes very few people may love their country. I'm not saying some of you don't love your country, but if there are some who do so, please change, pray and change to love your country. Because Your country, that's where you'll grow up, whether there are challenges, whether there are problems, where you'll get old. And when Almighty calls you, they will give you 5 meters of the land, dig the grave, put you there, put the soil on you. This soil that they put on you is very light on your bones because that is your own. That is your country. So country is paramount. National interest of your country. So it is really important that today you are having your education in this and your educators are concerned to see that the university is improved. It's for us who are in attendance today and other South Sudanese of goodwill both inside the country and in diaspora to pool our resources towards addressing the gaps in infrastructure identified by the university administration. Now, you know, those in diaspora did not go there for tourism. I think so. All of us have been in diaspora before, one way or the other. South Sudanese who are in diaspora, they didn't go there for tourism. It was because of the struggle fighting for this country. And diaspora also must begin to think what good thing they can do for that country. You see, you have the Jewish state, Israel. If you go to New York, there are more Jews than there are in Israel. You know that? But those Jews in New York, they always work hard and protect the Jewish state. They protect Israel. They do all they can. They talk to the senators. They do positively. Even if human rights are being abused, they will go and argue, no, there are no human rights. Because they love that country. So diaspora is one of the wings which is essential for development of this country. We have a huge number of our own diaspora who left because of the war of liberation here we were conducting. And one thing they were doing very good, they were educating their own cousins. The hard work they do in America, in Australia, in Finland, in Sweden, in UK and other countries, in Italy, anywhere you go. We've met them all in these countries. They would send a little $100. So my fellow students, if you don't have $100, think of your cousin in diaspora. Tell him, man, you send $100 so that you give it to the university. Because this university is important. It's a symbol of nationalism. So it is important. And Juba University, you should know now, was a part of the struggle. We used to call it that it is a refugee university. It has actually an internally displaced university. I think the professor here was telling us it was taken to Khartoum. Why move from here? So it is internally displaced. And now it has been repatriated again back. Like you were outside and you are brought back as a refugee. So your university was moving with you in your struggle. That's why it's important, related to the people of this country. In demonstration of this plate, we have seen before, Mr. Chairperson, that there are great needs that the university needs. Building new lecture halls, building expanding library, building new ICT station for computer schools. And I'm glad that one of the singers here, the School of Music, is here. And you can see the riches we have. We're just one single group here out of 64 ethnic groups, cultural dances. Some of our cultures, nobody has them in this world. It's our only property. I think if you go and see an Asholi dance and see this dance of Warab dance and see, where will you see? It's a hard currency and you can only see it in South Sudan, isn't it? So we must develop our cultures. You must not be shy about your cultures. You must be proud with your cultures. And you develop them. You develop them. You put what you see in Kenya, what you see in UK, what you see in America, and the rest. Come and see your culture. If there is something good in Kenya, put it in as academicians to improve your culture. Now we didn't have the music, but we brought in. We used to have the drum and the horn of the cows, isn't it? As a whistle, isn't it? They blow. You see. So culture is a property you must know is important, and I'm glad that in a university gathering like this, where people have come to see how to expand the academic institution, you think about your culture. Because it is valuable, it is what we are, and we should all be proud of. And our institutions, Mr. Chairman, must take it up very seriously. Development of channels. I'm sure if somebody rich somewhere organizes these 64 ethnic groups, cultures, dances, and just take them around the world, he will end up a millionaire. I can bet that. Because people will die to see what type of dance this. And I think South Sudan is a new thing. And as they always said, the Italian missionary in 1871 visited Africa, and then after going back, he was a member of the Catholic Church. After going back, then he said that there is always something new out of Africa. There is always something new out of Africa. Since 1871, we are now in 2022. At that time, there was something new. Now, South Sudan is something new in Africa. That is the truth of it. That is the truth of it. So now with this university, you must be also oriented academically to see how you can think and improve and develop, whether technically, whether economically, of what you have in the Republic of South Sudan. And I'm glad Juba University has been doing that. Looking at the economy of this country, you are known as the virgin resource of Africa. South Sudan is a virgin in terms of resources. You have too many valuable resources that have not been exploited. When General Charles William came here and they brought in the British and the Egyptians, they spent 56 years. They didn't even have time to know that there was oil around in South Sudan, like they did in Saudi Arabia. They didn't know. Gold in Capoeira and Western Bahr el Ghazal, for example, uranium and copper in Western Bahr el Ghazal, diamonds in Eastern Equatoria, you can go on, agricultural lands in Upper Nile, huge, enormous waters, the biggest wildlife migration in the Republic of South Sudan. We have the biggest wildlife migration that we are not even using to benefit economically. It's bigger than the animals. The whole world come to see them at Serengeti in Tanzania or Masai Mara. And they leave all the animals here. That is yours. That is your wealth. But you are lucky that the colonialists who came here did not exploit them. So you have a field day, Mr. Vice Chancellor, that these young people can be thinking about of what to do in this country. Oh, if you want to change us from the government, we do it democratically. That doesn't need thinking. That is done democratically. You see, it should not be your worry at all. It's not your worry. If democratic institutions are established for the people of South Sudan to choose and reject their leaders, that is done through one man, one woman vote. There's no way you can come. If you try to use the gun, then we will say no, there's a constitution. Let these people, let them choose you. They want you. And that's what we want to establish, and that's what our struggle has been for. When we conducted the referendum in 2011, it was one of the best referendums ever. And we did it well. When we did elections in 2010, we did it professionally. There was no issue of that votes have been stolen here and there. If there were a few complaints, they went to court, to high court, and they were seen that some of them were dismissed and all that. But the elections of Bush in America had problems. We didn't have any problems. Now, so let us build our institutions. That is the way forward, because we have the capacity to do that, and we have got partners who can help us to do those things. So, in demonstration that our president has a belief in supporting university education, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, President of the Republic of South Sudan, he has asked me to contribute on. He's contributing something. Do you want me to announce it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You see, you are right. It has to be announced because somebody will say that maybe there is corruption going place. His Excellency has contributed 1 million United States dollars. This is towards this noble objective of supporting the University of Juba to meet its infrastructural development needs. As I told you before, this university was born out of struggle. It is not a university conceived in any manner. It was out of the struggle. So the President understands it, and all of us understand it. Your lecturers understand it. Because their contribution, contribution is also based, in terms of academic giving, is based on that fact. That every citizen in the Republic of South Sudan must be proud to support our university, which was conceived by our political heroes who have gone. They are no longer here. Agri is not here. Joseph Oduhu is not here. Those who said all this, few are here, like Joseph Lagu and others. Abel Elier, Barnaba, Gordon Mortar is no longer here. All these politicians, Father Cetrino is not here. You see, but they had conceived one day that children should have a university. So this is a genuine cause. It's a product of liberation struggle. So, in closing, I have to emphasize that fact that development of better facilities for institutions of higher learning is a continuous process that requires all of us to focus on it. For this reason, it is therefore my pleasure to wish you all very fruitful fundraising event. Thank you all, and may God bless you and our country, the Republic of South Sudan.